I'm gonna 100% Sonic Frontiers, which means I'm gonna fully map every island, complete every challenge in cyberspace, max out Sonic stats, and find all the collectibles. That's a lot to do, so let's get to work. The game kicks off and not 5 seconds in, Eggman is already up to his old tricks, somehow uploading an AI into a solid stone pedestal. Impressive, but his shenanigans almost instantly backfire and he gets sucked into cyberspace. Flash to Sonic and friends cruising the sky in Tails' plane.
Track the Chaos Emeralds here, right?
Hold up, I thought Sonic was supposed to sound like this.
You're too slow!
Not Chris Evans as Captain America.
People of Sokovia, he didn't.
Anyway, shocker, they get sucked into cyberspace too. Just like that, we're dropped into the 3D Sonic gameplay that we know and love. And just like that, we're dead. This might be a good time to tell you that I've never actually played a Sonic game before. Fortunately, we're able to overcome this incredible adversity and boost, bounce, and grind our way to a D? What? Whatever, we hold that D as we're spit out into a strange, rainy world after completing the course. Then we're greeted by a disembodied voice who we instantly trust. The voice tells us we did the impossible by escaping cyberspace and that we're the key. The key to what exactly? Can't be sure. It also tells us to find the Chaos Emeralds and defeat the Titans. Okay, we'll do our best. At this point, we've officially unlocked the ability to roam the world freely, so we proceed to sprint around, grind more rails, defeat some enemies, unlock combat skills, fall to our death, and collect some important items from the world. First and foremost, this is Sonic, so of course you got your random floating rings. Nothing too special here, but you do get a nifty turbo boost when you max them out. The second thing we find are these Seeds of Power and Defense, which are items that can be traded later on to increase our stats. Also, there are these little lost children which increase stats too, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Anyway, as I said in the intro, we'll need to max out our stats to complete this challenge. I mean, the devs literally put the highest number they can go right there on the screen. You gotta max that out. From here, we complete a couple puzzles which reveal some slivers of the map, and now that we have the basics down, we're able to bust through the baby gate, keeping us in Tutorial Town. Before we go any further though, I want to take a second to let you know that we're currently in a heated race with Kevin James to 1 million subscribers. And to say we're getting destroyed would be an understatement. But we do have one thing going for us. He doesn't actually know we're racing. Yes, right now, Paul Blart is probably sitting at home blissfully unaware of the huge L that's currently headed his way. But to pull off the upset of the century, I need your help. It's easy. All you need to do is scroll down and click subscribe, please, and thank you. Anyway, we exit Tutorial Town and almost instantly we're attacked by this very angry tower, which despite us playing on the hardest difficulty, easily falls to the might of our fists. With the tower out of the way, we find another one of those strange altars, which turns out to be a gateway to another cyberspace level. So we use a gear that the recently deceased tower kindly dropped to open the portal and take on the level. This one goes about as well as the first one, but after a bit of practice and going to the store to replace my controller, we're finally able to complete it. On the end screen for the level, you can see that there are 4 challenges. Beat the level, find all the secret red rings, finish the level with a certain number of rings, and the most challenging of them all, beat the level under the S tier time limit. Completing these challenges gives us keys which we need to unlock the Chaos Emeralds from around the island. Turns out that every island has 7 levels, each with these same 4 challenges, all of which we'll need to beat. But for now, we just need enough keys to get the Chaos Emeralds on this island. So we decide to move on without completing all 4 challenges and come back once we've leveled Sonic's speed up a bit. As we exit the level, we see a little cutscene that reveals Eggman is actually trapped in cyberspace. Seems like a good thing to me. Hope he doesn't get out. Now that we've gotten a few keys from the first couple levels, we head up to unlock our first emerald. On the way there, we fight an even bigger, more angry tower than before, but with our platforming prowess, we're able to scale its sides and demolish this building. We also complete a couple more of these little puzzles, which reveal more of the map. Each island in this game has a bunch of these mapping challenges, which include greatest hits like skydiving, the floor is lava, and you're too slow. And in order to fully map the islands, we're gonna need to finish every single one of these challenges. From here, we move on and find our friend Amy, who's trapped halfway in cyberspace and also in jail. Seems a bit redundant to me, but who am I to judge? Luckily, we're able to use some of these strange floating hearts we found on the island to bust her out. These hearts are memory tokens, which are the main collectible in this game and are scattered around the map. They're usually found at the end of a small platforming challenge, and you already know we're gonna have to track every one of these suckers down at some point. Thankfully, they're marked on the map, but dear God, there are a lot of them. Not to worry though, that's a problem for future Gwyn. For now, with Amy freed, we head up and finally get our hands on our first Chaos Emerald. Immediately after touching it, we get our first very intimidating glimpse at one of the Titans. We also meet the main antagonist of the game, which is the physical manifestation of the AI that Eggman created and injected into the stone, also known as Sage. Sage tells us to leave, but instead of doing that, we go up and start punching the Titan right in the kisser. And oh. Okay, well, looks like we actually do need those emeralds to beat this guy. Thankfully, after that beatdown, Sonic's spine is somehow still intact, so after they leave us alone, we're able to continue exploring the island, all while gathering memory tokens, defeating enemies, including a giant flying squid, mapping the entire area like a psychopath, going fishing with Big, working our way through the varied landscapes of cyberspace to gather keys, using said keys to unlock Chaos Emeralds, and meeting some of the inhabitants of this world, which are these cute little guys who also hate the Titans. There are also a couple big little guys who can help us increase our stats in exchange for those seeds and the lost children that I mentioned before. Eventually, we're able to get 6 of the 7 emeralds we need, then complete this incredibly frustrating mirror puzzle, which parts this big waterfall and gives us access to the Titan's lair. But what about that last emerald? Yeah, turns out it's on top of the Titan's head. You could say that's a bit of a problem. But if you said that, you'd be wrong because we're motherfucking Sonic. So we run right up this guy's side and snag the final emerald, then the music goes off the rails as we turn into Super Sonic and kick Giganto's teeth in. Unfortunately, after we defeat the Titan, Amy is still trapped halfway in cyberspace, so we continue our quest to save her by flying over to the second island of the game where the next Titan awaits. As we arrive, we're shot out of the sky, which somehow makes us drop all of our emeralds and leaves us trapped in the desert wasteland that is Aris Island. So with nothing better to do, we start exploring this strange new land. Our strategy is to map the entire island as fast as possible, because once you have the whole island mapped, you unlock the ability to fast travel, which makes it way easier to get around and find the emeralds. As we're mapping the area, we find that Knuckles has also managed to get himself trapped in cyber jail. That's tough, but nothing some memory tokens can't fix. After freeing Knuckles, we continue exploring and proceed to get stuck in canyons, uncover ancient ruins, gather some tokens, defeat sumo wrestling robots, and score a few goals to complete our map. With the mapping finished, we start taking on the cyberspace levels to get those precious keys. These levels are a bit more difficult than the ones on the first island, but thanks to our god gamer genes, our rate of getting better at this game vastly outpaces this increase in difficulty, which means we're able to start finishing off the challenges in these levels with relative ease. So we side-scroll our way through cyberspace until we have a few more keys to our name, then we get to work unlocking the Chaos Emeralds from around the map. But as we're doing that, Sage unleashes the local Titan who chases us across the desert. Thankfully, this tiny rock is here for us to hide behind, but now that thing is just flying around patrolling the skies. Great. Fortunately, this isn't too much of a problem thanks to all the mapping we did before we started gathering the emeralds. So we're able to easily jump around the map and snag the rest of the gems, then help our tiny friends with their adorable little war effort, and use our claw game skills to unlock the door to the Titan's lair. Inside, we scale up a platforming challenge with, relative ease, then get on the Titan's trail, chase it down, and hop on its back to grab the final emerald. With all 7 emeralds at our disposal, you already know we go Super Saiyan, then fly above the island chasing the Wyvern Titan. After some trial and error, we figure out that you need to parry this thing's missiles to open it up before you can beat it down. So we do just that and punch it into submission, then pry open its mouth and give this big guy a little taste of its own medicine. That's 2 Titans down, 2 to go. At this point, we use the last of our supersonic juice to fly over to the next area of the game, Chaos Island. This is a high elevation volcanic wasteland, which is no place for a hedgehog. So we waste no time and get started uncovering the map, which involves some Tetris puzzles that really put our spatial relations to the test. This island also tests our patience because it's full of lava and big ol' sections of abyss for us to fall into. But we persevere and eventually track down our third friend Tails and free him from his cyber jail. But as we do that, Sonic starts to fade into cyberspace himself. Looks like we probably need to get a move on with this whole Titan slaying thing. From here, we continue exploring this island, falling into lava, doing some of the cyberspace levels, and uncovering the map until we hit a wall, literally. Yes, this is an invisible wall blocking us from the final area of the island, and yes, that was a funny joke. To unlock this area, we double back and start grabbing the emeralds to progress the story. As we're doing this, our AI frenemy unleashes yet another Titan on us, which we're just barely able to outrun. After sprinting to safety, we team up with Tails to hack our way into some more emeralds, then jump this drawbridge, become a pinball, complete the map, and secure the 6th gem, which means it's time to head in and take on the next Titan, Knight, who of course is holding the final emerald captive on top of its head. Thankfully, we're able to grind our way up its arm and snag it, then proceed to go absolutely ape. We chase the Titan around this crater, punching it in the face as much as possible until we're able to chop it in half with its own sword. And that's 3 down, 1 to go. But interestingly enough, there are still 2 islands remaining in the game. This is because the 4th island is completely different from any of the others we've visited so far. Instead of the usual Easter egg hunt, this time we're ordered by the disembodied voice to scale 6 towers and activate the controls at the top. This involves 6 long, challenging platforming sequences, which might have been my favorite part of this whole game. So we gleefully climb these towers, but as we activate them, Sonic gets progressively weaker and weaker, until finally he's taken on so much cyber energy that he gets locked away just like his friends. To make matters worse, Eggman is also magically able to escape cyberspace at this very same moment. But that is nowhere near our biggest problem, because it turns out that that disembodied voice we've been following is actually an incredibly powerful being that wants to consume this entire world. Oops. Luckily, our friends are able to join forces and free us from our prison. Then we team up with Eggman and Sage and move on to the final island to try to save the world. At this point, you know the drill. We map the island and grab the tokens, while also beating cyberspace levels to get keys to unlock the emeralds. After mapping the whole island, we decide to fully beat all the challenges for the 7 cyberspace levels before moving on with the story. Mostly because we were having fun playing them, but also it'll be one less thing to worry about later. And with the levels fully completed, the island fully mapped, and the emeralds fully recovered, we hack our way into the Titan's chamber, get gifted the last emerald by our new bestie Eggman, and fly off for our final showdown against the Supreme Titan, which despite it having a gun, turns out to be the easiest fight in the game. So we beat it into submission, but defeating this Titan only makes things worse as it frees our enemy's true form, a being called the End. And the End is much too powerful to be fought alone, even for Supersonic. Thankfully, our AI homie is able to take over the empty husk of the Supreme Titan, and we blast off together into space to battle a literal planet. And yes, that's right, for some reason, they decided to make the final battle of this game into a shoot 'em up. Definitely a weird way to end it, but I'm here for it. We failed to beat this thing a few times until we hone our skills enough that we're able to barrel roll our way through this fight, then Sage sacrifices herself to defeat our enemy. Sad music commences and the credits roll. After the credits, we continue our game and find ourselves reset outside the final battle. It's a little disappointing that we don't seem to have a proper post-game here, but whatever. With the main story completed, all we have left to do is tie up the loose ends. This mostly involves scouring the 4 islands to find the hundreds of remaining memory tokens that we missed on our first time through. But we also still need to max out our stats and complete the challenges in the cyberspace levels. So we head back to the first island and start putting our Sonic skills to the test. We gather all the memory tokens, fully complete 6 out of the 7 levels, then face our biggest challenge of this entire run, level 1-2. If you remember from the beginning of the video, this was a level we said we would come back to when we were faster. Well, even with our increased speed, this is still by far the hardest time trial in the game. And maybe I missed a shortcut or something, but 1-2 was so much tighter on the S-rank time than any other level to this point. We attempted this challenge over and over until we developed some very specific strategies and executed them perfectly. And with all of that effort, we were just barely able to squeak in half a second below the required time. After overcoming the greatest challenge in the Sonic franchise, we've officially completed the first island. From here, we move on to Ares Island, where we easily go through the remaining challenges on the cyberspace levels and scour the landscape for the rest of the memory tokens, which we're able to locate in just a few short hours. With the tokens collected, our business here is done, and with the second island complete, we decide to skip Chaos Island for the time being and instead head to Island 5. This is because the fishing minigame on this island is the most rewarding in the game, and fishing is by far the fastest way to get the items needed to level up our stats. So we fish up a big pile of random garbage until we're able to buy enough seeds and orphans to max out our attacks, defense, ring count, and get our speed to level 98. I left this at 98 because I felt like maxing out our speed was a poetic way to finish a Sonic game. From here, we jet our way around the map and gather all the remaining memory tokens, then head over to Chaos Island and do the same. After getting the memories, we fully complete 6 of the 7 cyberspace cyberspace levels, and if you're keeping track at home, you'll know that means we just have 2 things left to do. First, we head to the Hermit Coco and trade him some orphans to get that last point of speed. Then we head into level 3-7, where we use our crazy stats to blaze through the 4 challenges. And with those challenges conquered, that means we have officially 100%ed this game. Like the video and subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed it. Till next time.